So I went to this meeting. I had to leave before this guy spoke because I carpooled, and the person I carpooled with had to get back home because, kids, and it's kind of hard to have babysitters late at night. I hate doing this. Crap.
Next is Robert Burke, and then Mary Hatch.
I'm old enough to be a maniac. I was born about at Maine Medical Center and went to school on Ocean Avenue, and I actually was arrested in '67 for crashing a freshman dance at UMP. It's the only brush I have with the law. I want to speak to Noah. And I'm going to read this because I'm sorry I couldn't memorize this, and some of the guys know me from stuff that I post. I'm here to express my concern over proposed and some existing regulatory measures your agencies have put forth in the name of the welfare of the right whale and the effect as affected by the lobster industry of Maine and its fishing practices. I ask that you carefully review the species assessment.
He's got multiple
reports,
videos on YouTube.
Oh, he's gone.
Not YouTube, Facebook, sorry.
That's good. I met Pat at a meeting in Stonington last year, and I said, "Oh, well, you're being bamboozled." What I said at the time, these lobstermen are being bamboozled. Where's the support? What's the source for all of this? And Pat said, read the species assessment reports. So I read the assessment reports from 2007 to 2021. That's 2 weeks of my life I'll never get back. They're boring. They're incredibly scientific. Some of them, they're repetitive, and I'll get to that in a minute. And here's your data. This is your data, and I hope you'll stand by this. Everything I'm going to say from now on is your data. We got that? This is your data from the species assessment reports. Okay, that NOAA's SARS report 2007, quote, "The right whale nest is hovering around 500, and it is growing at a rate of 2.7 per year, up from 2.3 2 years earlier. And it was earmarked as stable and growing." That's 2007. NOAA calving report 2021 lists 237 calves born between 2000 and 2021. Any disagreement so far? NOAA SARS reports from 2007 to 2021, and this is where you have to flip pages back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, contains, I want to get this right, 234 double entries. That creates 189 phantom mortalities of right whales. NOAA SARS reports 2007, 2021. Well, NOAA SARS report 2014 to 2021, and there's a big gap. There's about a 16-month gap between these. Come out like clockwork. November, December 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. They stop. 2012, December. There's a 16-month gap. I'd like to find out what happened there. What new researches did you bring in? What other resources were you using? In April of 2014 is the next SARS report. It has a new format, a new look. It has a map on the first page that shows no right whales in the Gulf of Maine, but it also has, because I was paying specific attention to the catalog of all the incidents. These reports have a catalog of all incidents. It started out as vessel strikes, became ship strikes and entanglements. And in 2014, a new column was added, value against PBR. And there's a footnote down there at the bottom that says a PBR value of 1 equals a mortality. From 2014 to 2001, that column creates 42 and a half phantom mortalities. There are the entanglement off Cape Elizabeth is entered, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. That whale is described as a free swimming whale, one piece of rope on it, no gear collected, whale swam off. It was given a 0.75 death rate. 3/4 of that whale was dead. So this made me think of that gorgeous whale of Snow Cone, who was dead. They said Snow Cone is dead. She's dead. They had a practice of not reporting calving reports because they said, well, the first 5 years of a calf's life are the most dangerous, and it's possible that they could die. So we're not going to report them for 5 years. Concurrent with that, they had a practice of saying, if we don't see a whale for 5 years, we're going to assume it's dead. This is in your SARS reports. That's in the body of it, which you got to read. It'll take you 2 weeks. Let's see. I told you, 42.5 phantom mortalities. NOAA SARS from 2007 to 2021 contain 41 honest mortalities, deaths. And some of those are entanglements which are ghastly. They describe the rope, but the whale was dead. You only get to die once, I believe. You only get to die. You only get to live once, you only get to die once. Not if you're some researcher from NOAA, apparently. So then I think, okay, I want to find out the population. We started out with 500. I couldn't find a number greater than 350 any place either. Mark Baumgarten did a study up where he had photographic evidence where he spotted 187 whales and said, we think that's 47% of the existing nest, which would have brought it up to 468 or something. It's the biggest number I could find, but even that was inconclusive. So I need to finish this. I listened to you for a long time, and I've been waiting for a long time. So I'm looking for, okay, how do I get to 350 whales? We started with 500. 237 calves are born between 2007 and 2021. Anybody here take 6th grade math? 500 and 237 equals 737. So, well, then you got to take away the honest mortalities to get the population of January 1st, 2022. So 41 from 737 is 696 right whales in what is called the DPS. You know this, the diverse population subset of right whales that inhabit the North Atlantic. Concurrent with this, they have counted 12 to 15,000 right whales in the DPS that inhabit the Southern Atlantic. In March of 2021, the right whales, the 12 to 15,000 right whales that inhabit the DPS, the diverse population subset in the South Atlantic, were downlisted from endangered to threatened. The only reason, because this is important, the sole reason for having an endangered animal is that activates the lever which says I can shut down your industry, provided it's endangered. And one thing I suggest you do is go back, do your own math again, and lobby strong and hard. This can't be easy for you, and I know I'm not making it any easier, but it's time to downlist the diverse population subset of the right whale. There is no scientific data whatsoever that says there is any biological difference between the diverse population of right whales that inhabit the North Atlantic and the diverse population of right whales that inhabit the South Atlantic. The closest thing they come to is saying, well, the right whales in the diverse population subset of the North Atlantic have been isolated for a long time, and perhaps they've begun to inbreed, and that may affect their ability to populate. You know, I don't know, you'd have to maybe get the Monterey Aquarium to take their equipment and pick up a right whale from a healthy male from the South Atlantic and bring them up here, and that might help. So then, I need to finish this because I'm tired, and this is like the longest visit I've ever had to a dentist. So I was looking then for the growth rate. We had 2.7 back in 2007, right? So you take the number of, it's pretty simple math, you take the number of calves that were born, 237, you divide that by the mortality, this is over 14 years, of 41, and you get a growth rate today of 5.78, which is more than, so the annual growth rate, which is more than double the growth rate in 2007. That sounds like progress to me. If they were called stable and growing in 2007, NOAA, if you assigned it the value of stable and growing, that's a quote from your SARS page, what do you call it today when it's 5.7 per year? That sounds like it's a whole lot better than that. I'm almost done. Oh, there it is, the endangered. Oh, and also I found that BOE, the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, you know this as well, in their lease agreement with Vineyard Wind, which has become the blueprint for all offshore wind farms along the East Coast, and there are 35 of them proposed. In that BOEM lease agreement, the offshore wind is given permission to take, read kill, because of the, I won't go into it, but because of the seismic cannons and sonic arrays that they use to find holding ground on the bottom and places to drill horizontally to bring cabling back. They're allowed to kill 20 right whales. So if you assign that to the 35 wind farms which are proposed along the East Coast, you're allowing wind farms to kill 700 right whales, which is twice the number you say you have today. So then you're going to have to call Monterey Aquarium and say, we need 350 more right whales up here in the north because we have to kill 350 more. I respect it. I know this can't be easy for you, and I know I'm making it harder for you, but a certain part of me loves doing this right now. I have to tell you that. I really do. Because I'm one of those guys who says, as Maine goes, so goes the nation. When I was a kid, that's what we used to say, as Maine goes, so goes the nation. Maybe you're not old enough to remember it, but I do. Anyway, I respectfully request a written response to the questions that I brought up tonight, and also a written presentation of the data you have that shows the deaths of right whales in the same structure that are in your SARS reports: location, date, vessel strike, ship strike, entanglement, and if possible, tie it to a port or a lobsterman. I can guarantee this audience and everybody else here will come down like rain on...
I hit a button.
I'm just gonna live longer, love better, eat Maine lobster, which is brought to you from the sweet, cold depths off the coast of Maine by the men and women of the lobster industry of Maine. The most responsible, sustainable, self-regulated fishery on this planet.
The lady in the red sweater took up a lot of time. Politicians took up a lot of time. And what he was saying before I hit a button that fast forward probably 10 seconds was, if anybody actually gets entangled, their gear gets entangled with a whale, the industry itself will come down like rain on a spring afternoon, is what he said. Andrew, if you see this, I'm not trying to steal your video, it's not mine. Go look up Maine Reset. That's his video. He was there, he was walking around, he's doing a good job. Thank you, sir. Robert Burke, 2 weeks reading papers. Wow. Me being a commercial fisherman, trying to take time to read that much paperwork is, him being a father of 2 kids is impossible. And it's just unreal what's going on right now. I don't understand any of it. It's false science. They're going with worst case scenarios, and they're pointing the finger at us when we have a 18-year record of nothing. So if you look at the Maine lobster industry as a driver's license and you've never had a ticket, you need to drive 90% safer. How do you do that? You get off the fucking road. Well, what happens when you get off the road? Stuff gets shut down. You guys have a good evening. Give me your opinion.